Hey, hey, I see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are welcome to the year of the studio. Welcome to my studio. I we're gonna be working on this bad boy again, per usual. You can see some of what we did last week. Love you and stuff. And this side, a little bit of Big Bendism pictures. Hey, Carolee, welcome. So we're gonna work on this. I'm also gonna talk about Big Ben because that's one of the trips we just went on. I've been gone for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I am so sorry. If I were a better person, I would plan ahead and tell you guys that I wasn't gonna upload, and I would also let you guys know on social media that I wasn't gonna upload. But instead, I tend to leave it up to a surprise because I guess that's who I am. Which is not the best way to be, but win some, lose some. So we are going to be working on this. I think I need to find. So everything in this room basically has been in a tornado because we've had 3 trips in the past couple weeks, and one of those was a camping trip. So a bunch of our camping supplies have been utilized. So I need to figure out where the wood burner even is. So it's got to be in here somewhere. I'm guessing it's nearby. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some wood burning. Oh, what a weirdo! I put it away where it belongs. I should do that every week, but I don't. So it's weird because of the natural and healthy fear of that tip because it's often very hot. Uh, I have such a strong habit of thinking, "Don't you dare touch that," that when it is cold and it's clearly not plugged in and it hasn't been plugged in for weeks, I still look at it and I think, Carolee, I still don't want to touch that. I need to screw it on tighter. I need to tighten it, but I don't want to. I don't want to touch it. It freaks me out. My silly ape brain does not enjoy that. That freaks me out quite a bit. So we've got so much to talk about since the last time I was on. I tried to do a live stream from. Oh, where can I plug this in? The normal place I plug it in has these lights plugged into it. Huzzah! I can plug it into the light. The end of the light. I think. Maybe not. Let's see here. Watch us blow a breaker right now. Because these lights do use a lot of electricity. Oh, geez, why is that so hard? I don't remember what I was talking about. But I'm glad to be back. Glad to be here. What is it on? Glad to be back. I guess we should talk about the first trip first. It looks kind of blurry. Is that better or worse? I can't even tell. The first trip was Erica's brother had a wedding. Well, not just him. Nicole and Jesse got married, and that was pretty exciting and pretty fun. And so we got to go up for that. We got to road trip with the previous wedding's bride from New Mexico. Got to road trip up there with her. That was super fun. Oh my goodness, look at the bear. I forgot how good the bear turned out. The bear looks so good. I remember saying that the bear looked bad, but honestly, it looks freaking adorable. So sometimes you just gotta take a step away so that you can really enjoy something. Yeah, it's nowhere near hot. But so first up, we went on that trip, and that's the trip where I found out I was gonna go skydiving for the first, and we'll get to it. So yeah, I went skydiving. For those of you who don't know, I hate falling, and I am scared of heights. So I don't like heights. I don't like falling. I don't like roller coasters, any of that kind of jazz. So I was pretty sure this was going to be like top 10 worst experiences. Turns out, yeah, I finished it. I succeeded. I got to the ground safely, relatively comfortably. And as I was walking away from it, I was yelling and screaming. I was so hyped up. I was super stoked. And then uh, my father-in-law was like, "How was it?" And I was like, "I never ever want to do that again." Just instant deadpan face. Not for me. So that gives you an idea of just how much fun I had. I did have more fun than I thought I would. I still had less fun than, like, say, what's something that's a comparable level of not fun? A car accident. Yeah, like, I'd say it was that level of fun. It was so much stress and anxiety. I was nope, not my thing. Not my thing. Although the best part of it is was really surprising. Turns out the best part was in fact the falling. Falling out of the aircraft did turn out to be the best part, which is not what I would have expected. Not at all what I would have expected. So yeah, I did enjoy falling, just not enough to ever want to do it again. So yeah, take that how you want to. But that's what happened to me. We're getting started here. Um, yep, it's not necessarily. I mean, if you're into it, and if you're like a thrill junkie, I would say yeah, you'll probably love it. If you're a relatively normal person, or at least more normal. In my case, I'm not a relatively normal person, but I am more normal than people realize I am. I seem a lot less normal than I am, and um, I can confirm, at least for me, it was um, tolerably fun. So I did have a good time. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's just not for me. That's all there is to it. Just not for me. So I think trying to think of what I want to do for this little mesa over here. So I have so much that's going into the detail of the one mesa, but the other landscape stuff doesn't have anything happening. So I'm gonna start working on that a little bit. I think we'll see. We'll see what I work on. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. That's the way I roll. Keep them on their toes. Um, but yeah, it was really fun. It was really good. We then went to Top Golf, which was also fun. I enjoy Top Golf quite a bit, even though I don't really know how to play normal golf. Don't really know how to swing a club, but I do know how to give the maximum amount of effort whenever I'm doing something. So that's what I do when I go to Top Golf. I'm just swinging for the fences every time. And so the first time I ever went top golfing was recently. It was for the other wedding, the wedding in New Mexico that we did, or that we were in, and that was fun. It took me all night, which was like 2 or 3 hours. Took me all night, but I did eventually get the 75 points in the back, like by hitting it all the way to the back. This time, I did that 3 times, so I was pretty excited. I was pretty happy about that. Pretty happy with my success improvement level. So I would have gotten last place in every game if it weren't for the fact that I got a 75. So my 75s were pretty necessary for my success. They were the reason I succeeded. So, and succeeded, is a strong word for it. But I did do it. And I was there, and I did have fun. And I would say at Top Golf, having fun is synonymous with succeeding in Top Golf. The whole point of Top Golf is just to have stupid fun. And I did a good job of that both times. So, yeah, that was a blast. Then, oh, hey, somebody else is here. Say hi in the comments and let me know who you are. And then right now we're wood burning this beautiful mesa into darker colors, and then once we oil it, it'll bring out hopefully some more colors as well. But then I haven't actually looked into it or done it yet, but we might color some of this. But that'll be another day if we do that. So, but yeah, so that was fun. Then we had the wedding, which was a beautiful, super cute wedding. Just like adorably cute wedding. Little tiny old historical dairy farm place. The wedding was outside, down by some beautiful old willow tree, or beautiful young-ish willow trees, medium age willow tree, weeping willows, and they were beautiful and happy. And then the reception was in the barn, dairy barn, old fashioned dairy barn. It was cool. You could tell by looking at the beams that it had been built before power tools or even a mill. They hadn't milled it because all of the boards had been flattened with an axe. You could see the marks where they had used an axe. Based on the look of it, probably not a hewing axe. So I'm guessing that they probably just used whatever axe they had, which is kind of cool. But yeah, which was beautiful, beautiful old barn. And we did the reception there. It was beautiful. We had some lovely dancing. They weren't really planning on doing very much dancing. They're both Adventists. Both sides of the family are Adventist. There's not much dancing in their family. Both of them are very introverted, so they're not huge on dancing. But there did end up being some dancing. They did end up having some impromptu dances that were like not planned. So they did end up doing the father-daughter dance and a few other first dance things. Even though none of those were on the schedule, it just all kind of naturally, organically happened, which I thought was cute and awesome. Someone will probably tell me later that it was planned and I don't know anything, but that's okay. I don't need to know anything. That's what made it special, or part of what made it special. Did you hear that? What? Wait, which one was it? Oh, okay. Erica came up to the door. I don't know if you could hear her whispering, but she was like, "It was planned, and you know nothing." And then as she left, she was like, "Just kidding. It wasn't planned, and it was organic." And I was like, "Okay." Anyway, so, but yeah, it was a wonderful wedding. It was an absolutely delightful wedding. My pride and joy of the wedding was a photo that was taken of me. Classic. And it was most of his friends and her friends are pretty relaxed, pretty chill, pretty normal, standard people. I was probably the wildest or craziest or weirdest of us. And so when the camera photographer lady, she was like, "All right, that was cute. Now let's do a silly picture. Do you have any silly ideas for poses?" And they all just looked at me like I was going to tell them what to do for their own poses. And I said, "Oh, I have one." But I'm not telling any of you because it won't work if I tell you. And they were like, "What?" And then and then she takes the picture. "Oh, hey, there's a third person on here. Welcome. I'm glad you're here." I was just telling them about the wedding, and the funniest photo from the wedding was the photographer said, "All right, silly faces now," and I knew exactly what to do for my silly face. So I just leaned into Erica real fast and I stuck my tongue into her ear. And obviously, she gave a super silly cringe face, like, "Ah, what's happening?" Yeah, and it was hilarious and adorable and funny, and tasted terrible. Tasted much worse than I thought it would. It tasted much worse than candles. So, you know, turns out earwax does not taste good. Can confirm from experience. I'm that kind of guy. But anyway, so that was pretty great. I laughed at that. And then let's see here. What else happened? Then we had the road trip back from Virginia uh, down here to Texas, and that was a wonderfully fun road trip. I had a blast anyway. I think the ladies might have been a little tired, but for the most part, it was really fun. And we listened to a new podcast, and yeah, just had a hoot and a holler. And then we got back, and then Big Bend trip. Now Big Bend was fun. We were going as chaperones for CTA, one of the local schools here in Keene. And, yeah, it was really fun. Being a chaperone, not as difficult as being a camp counselor, partly because of the age difference, but also partly because of the responsibility level. It seems anyway. So that was nice. Uh, yeah, it was really fun being there. I felt so bad after. Oh, mom, did yes. So I was telling them, live and learn. Mom says, did I miss the air jump? Yes, you did. I already talked about the skydiving. Uh, the worst part of skydiving. Here, I won't tell you everything I already told you. You can watch the video again if you want. But I'll tell you something I didn't say when I was telling everyone about the skydiving, which is the worst part of the best part of skydiving is the free fall. The free fall was in fact the best part. The worst two parts. There's two parts that were bad enough I don't ever want to do it again. And that is, I mean, to be fair, all of it is bad enough that I don't want to do it again. But the free fall was the least bad part of it. The worst part of it was the plane ride up there, which was crazy. It's so intense. You're climbing so steep, so fast in that plane because they just want to get you up there so they can drop you. And then the other part that was really bad is once the harness. So you've already let go of the your parachute, right? So your parachute is deployed. You're now hanging from your parachute, basically paragliding, and uh, you and you start turning. And it turns out that when you turn like that, you can turn so sharp that you get way, way more G's in your body than I ever want to have in my body. So, yeah, the G force of turning one of those big things is not what I want in my life. So, I hated that part. That was the worst part, probably. That and the plane. And yeah, at one point, so at one point, when you actually land, you don't want your harness quite as tight, and you kind of want to be more comfortable in your harness as you're coming down for the landing or whatever. When you're falling, like when you're free falling, you want it as tight as humanly possible, basically for safety reasons that are probably pretty obvious to you. But once you're just gliding, you kind of want to loosen it a little bit so that you're more comfortable. And everybody else's instructors told them, I'm going to loosen your harness to make you more comfortable. Mine, on the other hand, I think he's new to English, and he did not say anything and just started unbuckling things, which, as you can imagine, freaked me out, super freaked out. He like buckled one, and I was like, but also I was taken back enough, like I was like startled by it enough. I didn't think to do anything or say anything about it. And then he goes to unbuckle the second one, and I grab his hand, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Relax. It's just to help with the thing. I'm gonna undo the front two buckles on your chest, and then we'll loosen up some of the straps. And then at that point, then I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. But it's like startling the first time. But so that was fun. Uh, then we got back and we went on Big Bend, which was a blast. We got our first flat tire within the first 30 minutes. As far as I know, it was also the only flat tire in the whole trip. But yeah, classic, classic road trip. And then once we were down there, we hiked basically twice every day. The only exceptions to that was we spent one day paddling the Rio Grande on a rafting the Rio Grande, which was super cool. I would hugely recommend paddling the Rio Grande through Western. It was not whitewater rafting at all. As someone who's done a fair, I don't know if I've done quite a bit, but I've done probably a lot more than most people whitewater rafting. Uh, and so um, it was not like that at all. It was super relaxing and super fun and zero risky, 0% risky. It was super just chill and yeah, it was a beautiful day. It was kind of cold, but yeah, not too bad. And one thing it taught me though is um, uh, I need to step up my game when it comes to camping. I need to do better at camping. So we need to get a smaller tent for the two of us, and we need to get uh, better sleeping bags, and because Erica gets cold really easy and she doesn't warm back up very easily. See, whereas I get cold probably moderately easily, uh, but I warm back up insanely easily. Like I have no trouble. Like if I eat something, I'm warmed back up. That's how fast it is. The joys of a fast metabolism, right? But so yeah, I need to do better job of taking care of that beautiful woman I'm going to go on our next camp out. So we thought it wasn't going to, being in the desert, we thought it wasn't going to be that cold at night, and that the air mattress would be warm enough, and with the wool blankets and the and the other blankets and stuff. We were wrong. No, Erica was cold every night. And I don't believe in sleeping cold, which also means I don't believe in letting my wife sleep cold, which means I need to step up my game quite a bit. So don't tell her, but we gotta resolve that. We gotta fix it. So I do not want to have that happen again. But although to be fair to myself, um, if we're being fair, which we don't have to be, I mean life's not fair, but um, if we are trying to be fair, it deserves to be noted that Erica is just really hard to keep warm. It's just really cold all the time, even in our own house, doing normal things. So there we go. Look at that. I think that looks a lot better with that strong shadow on there. I think so. I do. That's what I think. That's what I think. But yeah, so we did but all the other days, and then we did a museum one other day that took up the morning. But all the other days, we did two hikes, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. I think, if I remember right, which, who knows. But yeah, it was really beautiful. My favorite hike was our last hike. If you ever go to Big Bend, it's called Pine Canyon, and it was awesome. It was our steepest and, and in some ways most difficult hike, mostly just because we thought it was going to be an easy. It wasn't going to be steep, so our expectations were just different. But yeah, the best thing about that hike is the end. Um, I almost don't want to tell you just in case you get a chance to go, so that you won't have the end spoiled. But I know I'm sure most of you won't go to Big Ben. Uh, it's like pretty far from anything. But um, yeah, so that hike ends. You come around the corner of this rock cliff, and you can hear what sounds like a waterfall. And we came around the corner, and there's like this kind of slopey, gravelly sort of hill, and there's a big flat rock in the middle of it. Looks like soared out of this in the stone kind of stone, so beautiful. And then uh, up from it is just a sheer cliff, like a 200-foot sheer cliff, and it goes way up above the trees because you're down in the trees. It's really thick uh, with different types of trees, but quite a few oak. And then and you look up it, and there's for us there had rained earlier in the week, and it was just trickling, pouring down. Just yeah, not pouring down like a normal like waterfall, but like trickling and super noisy as it bounces off the rocks all the way down. And stuff. It's just beautiful. I'm gonna post it on TikTok in the next day or two. But yeah, it was awesome. The trip started off great too. There's a lot of cool views. We went to the window and Balance Rock, and what else? What other ones did we hike? We hiked Lost Mine Trail. Although Lost Mine Trail was rainy that day, so the first 2 days we were there, and a little bit before we got there, it rained. It just rained. It was rainy and nasty and cold, which I thought was fun, but some of the kids definitely did not, especially some of the teenage girls. One of which was like, we finished Lost Mine, and she was like, "This was the worst experience of my entire life," and I rudely laughed at her pretty openly and said something to the effect of, "Well, that's a good sign. You must have had the easiest life ever." I didn't say the second part, just the "Well, that's a good sign," and then I stopped myself before the second part came out of my mouth. But yeah, I felt really bad about that because good for her that she's had such a good life, and I shouldn't make fun of her for that, or laugh at her for that. I should be able to appreciate the happiness she's spent her entire life cultivating with a life of ease. Um, but yeah, it was none of the hikes were hard. Some of them definitely were sweaty. One of them definitely got me out of breath because two of the boys decided they were going to run ahead, and it's like middle of the day, summer sun, or not summer sun, but like the sun, desert sun beating down on us. I've got my backpack on, and a few layers, and I've got a big cowboy hat to keep the sun off my shoulders. And anyway, and we're at the front. We're the chaperone that's at the front, so you keep a staff person at the front, staff person in the back, and you just keep all the kids between them when we're doing these hikes. And me and Erica were the staff at the front, and these two boys came up and they wanted to run. And I was like, I'm not even going to tell them to stop. I'm just going to outrun them. And so that's what I did. I ran probably, I don't know, maybe half a mile. And we're on that hike, we're running uphill. We're at, I think, 6 or 7 thousand feet. It's probably more like 5 or 6, but whatever. It's somewhere around there. So it's higher elevation than where we are here in Texas, in most of Texas, and it's hot. It's in the middle of the day, so I was just sweating buckets, and it was funny though. I did outrun them pretty pretty easily, really. They didn't run that hard or far, but they did run a lot harder and further. They did run a lot harder and further than I was expecting them to, and so I was huffing and puffing, and I was sweaty, but not near any of my limits. But it was fun. It was very fun with those two, and and then yeah, that's how things went. So it was a good time. I, that story kind of sums up what a lot of it is to chaperone kids at that age and in a cool place like Big Bend. Big Bend is awesome. The stars were good. It's the best stars we've seen in Texas, although not the best stars I've seen, but definitely the best stars I've seen in Texas. I enjoyed it a lot. It was beautiful. We haven't seen stars like that all that much, so since we've been here. But I am gonna let y'all go, and hopefully we'll get to talk about Big Bend more. It was really beautiful. I still got to talk about the Ocotillo and the Ocotillo and yeah, I don't know what else, but I'm sure there's other things. There's some progress that we did today. We did all of this stuff, and a little bit over here. We did this little peak right here. I don't know. I got to do something to fix it. It's not quite right, but we'll figure that out. But there we go. So hit that bell, stay well, and I'll see you when I see you, which will be, hopefully, as far as I know, next week at the same time and same place. So come on back.